What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be covering Sword Soul, which is getting released on May 9th, so relatively soon. For these guys who are looking to build Sword Soul in the Master Duel, well, look no further. I have the ultimate sauce for you guys. This is my take on Master Duel Sword Soul. Let's get right into it. All right, so this is going to be the deck list. I've been playing a lot of Sword Soul even in the TCG. So I made some adaptations to include Denlong and some of the banned cards that are not in the TCG. So just bear with me. We'll start right with it. So 3 Moye. I think that's like one of the best normal summons in the deck. 1 Tai because it's like one of the worst normal summons. You just grab it if you need it off either Ecclesia or Emergence. I think 1 is enough. 3 Longyon. No need to explain that. It's basically Kairos. If you've played like Kairos in Tri Brigade, then Longyon is pretty much the same card. You have 3 Emergence, a starter, and then the 10U ratios is like 3 Ashuna, 3 Adhara, 2 Vishuddha, 2 Vessel, and 2 Heavenly Circle. So the 10U cards are really nice because they facilitate a lot of like fiber lines, and the fiber lines pushes the ceiling of the deck really far, so that's why I have them in there. For Denlong targets, you play 1/9 Pillars, which is like the counter trap for the deck. Super powerful, basically in Omni Negate for like literally anything, and it shuffles like the card that it negates back into the deck, which is relevant. And then you have Blackout, which is basically an Icarus attack for the archetype. If you guys are not familiar with Icarus attack, basically it pops a worm card you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, and whenever this card is banished, you can summon any Sword Soul token, which is a tuner level 4, so pretty sick. If you guys are unfamiliar with this archetype, you guys should know that like a lot of the Sword Soul monsters, whenever they're normal or special in some sort, they generate these tokens that are tuner tokens. That's kind of a cool mechanic because there's nothing, I guess, like this prior. And the tokens that they summon are basically vanilla tuners, which are kind of cool, and they facilitate a lot of like synchro lines. So if you're someone who's like a synchro enthusiast, then definitely look no further than this deck for sure. Highly encourage you guys to give this a shot. It's very, I would say, very high difficulty in terms of skill cap to play, but it's a very rewarding and fun deck. So I'll definitely say give it a shot if you're interested. I'm not sure what the rarities are going to be yet for Master Duel, but I'm sure it should be probably expensive based on the way Konami have been trending with like their Master Duel packs. Then you have 3 Ecclesia. Ecclesia basically tags out during the main phase into any Sword Soul or Fall of Malbaz monster from your hand or deck. The other relevant part about this effect is if your opponent controls more monster than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a really good going second card. And when it goes first, it's just additional copies of Moye, Taiye, and Longyon. Then you have Vessel and Circle. So these cards, I play them at 2 and 2 because we're in a best of 1 format. I think if we're in a best of 3 format, it might be better to play 3. But I think right now 2 and 2 is fine because we're best of 1. 1 card is better going first, like Vessel, and Circle is a card that's better going second. So because I don't know if I'm going first or second in Master Duel, I think playing 2 and 2 is like justified. Basically the way Vessel works is whenever you can send any worm from your deck to the grave, so it's like Foolish Burial. But if you control a vanilla monster or a face of non-effect monster, you can add your deck to your hand any 10U monster with a different name than the one that was sent. And this card is really powerful because it lets you play through Nibiru. If you get Nibiru, you can use Vessel because the token that you get off of Nib when they Nib you is a non-effect monster. So you can actually activate Vessel, send Ashuna, add Adhara, special that Adhara, then use Ashuna to summon Vishuddha, and then you can make a Synchro 8 line, which is pretty poggers. Then you have like Heavenly Dragon Circle. Basically what it does is it attributes a worm and then adds any worm from your deck to your hand. Protos is legal in Master Duel, which is currently banned in the CCG. And so this allows you to get more access to your Protos, especially if you hard open Emergence and you need Emergence to combo. Then you cannot use your Emergence to search Protos, which means you have to use Circle to grab Protos. So I think 2 is like nice. Basically what it does is it tributes a worm monster for cost and adds you any worm from your deck. And if you tribute a non-effect monster to activate this card, you can summon any worm monster from your deck but negates its effect. And it gives you really good fall because when it's in the graveyard, the turn after, during your main phase, you can, if you control a face of non-effect monster, you can banish it from your graveyard and add any 10 card from your deck to your hand. 2 copies of Call Y, 2 copies of Crossout. I think Crossout is not as good going second, so I think 2 is fine. And then Call By is good first or second. They're just like, I think when, like I said, we're in a Master is such a weird format where you don't know if you're going first or second. It's completely random. So I think just 2 Crossout Designator is like fine. There's an argument to not play it at all. Quite frankly, you can cut it down to 41 cards, and I think that's fine as well, to be honest. I just like to throw it in here because I'm currently testing it out. I think when this deck gets released, there'll be a lot of mirror matches, so I think Crossout for the mirror match might be kind of nice. Because you can Crossout Designator your opponent's blackout and then, you know, negate their trap card, which is pretty problematic. And of course, you can negate like Maxi or stuff like that, so it's like probably fine. You have 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 1 Nib, 1 Effect Veiler. I think those are enough non-engine. You play 3 Maxi for obvious reasons. You play 3 Ash Blossom because it can negate Maxi, which is more relevant than just negating random cards your opponent might have. Maxi is also super generic into, like, I mean, Ash is also super generic into a bunch of stuff, so no point not to play. And then the reason why I play 1 Nib, 1 Veiler is because of Crossout, but also because, like, if you Maxi your opponent and they end up taking the Maxi challenge, you need real cards to draw into, or else, like, they just take the challenge and just punish you. So I think having, like, real Nib, like a real cards to draw into off of Maxi, like the 1 Nib, the 1 Veiler, makes your Maxi actually more relevant. So that's why it's 1 and 1 there. Like I said, it's 1 and 1 for the Crossout and 1 and 1 for the Maxi. 1 Chi-1 because of the Denlong combo, a Protos because it's searchable, and it's probably one of the most broken floodgates in the game. It's so generic, can't be destroyed by card effects. It's literally a window on steroids, like super powerful, so easy to summon. It doesn't start a chain when it's summoned, so your opponent has to preemptively Maxi you. It's like just a very powerful card. O-Line for the Fiber combo, and then Death Spot for the Fiber combo. So the only like garnets I would say in the deck are like Phantom Beast, Death Spot, 9 Pillars, and Chi-Wen. But Chi-Wen isn't really that much of a brick because you can send it off of Lord Yuan or Long Yuan to summon itself. So this card is not the worst brick. I would say 9 Pillars, Death Spot, and O-Line are probably like the 3 bricks of the deck, and everything else is like pretty much playable. But it's still a very powerful deck, very high ceiling deck. And now I'm going to get into some of the combos that you guys should probably know if you're interested in learning how to play this deck. And I'll be showing you guys some stuff right now. So the first combo we have is we're going to assume we draw the following cards, which is Ashuna plus Adhara. You would special summon Ashuna, make the Monk, then special Adhara. And then make Fibrax. You'll Fibrax summon the Death Spot. You'll then make Auroradon. Auroradon will generate 3 tokens. You'll then bring the Death Spot back. You'll tribute itself. Auroradon will tribute itself and one of the tokens to summon an O-Line from the deck. You can then use O-Line plus one of the level 3 tokens to make Denlong. You'll go Denlong Chainlink 1, O-Line Chainlink 2 to make another level 3 token. And then you can then use Denlong effect to search a Yang Zing card from your deck to your hand, in which case it's going to be 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. This card is very powerful. It's basically a free counter trap. It can negate any spell and trap card or monster effect. So basically Solemn Judgment. You'll then go Denlong effect to send a Shuna from the deck, which then makes Denlong a level 7. You can then use Denlong and the level 3 token to make Baron. Baron is basically a free Omni negate as well. Then you can use Denlong effect to summon a Yang Zing monsters from the deck because it left the field. You can then use Ashuna's effect to special summon a Vishuda from the deck. You can then use Vishuda and Death Spot in order to make a Shizhao. The Shizhao is then going to search a normal summon, which is going to be Moye. You can then use Adhara in the graveyard to add back the Ashuna to your hand so that you have a card to reveal for Moye when you normal summon. You use Moye effect to reveal Ashuna, make a token. Make Boxia, you're going to draw a free card. You're then going to use Boxia and the Chi-Wen to make a Chao Feng. And now at this point you have a Baron, which is a free Omni negate, a Shijao, which is a monster negate. You have Chao Feng, which stops your opponent from activating any light monster effects. Then you have 9 Pillars to destroy your Chao Feng, to negate anything your opponent might activate. And then Chao Feng, when it's destroyed, can actually search you a tuner from your deck to hand, which means it actually grabs you Ash Blossom on top of your end board or Effect Veiler. So you have 1 interruption, 2 interruption, a Floodgate, a 3rd interruption, and then the Chao Feng dying actually grabs you an Ash or a Veiler, which is the 4th interruption off just Ashuna and Adhara. And you also have Ashuna for follow-up and a draw on top of all of this. The next combo that we have is Edit. Yo, delete the VOD. Special summon monk. Well, actually, okay, this is perfect because I want to show the versatility of like Ashuna at Hara because there's a bunch of lines you can do. So I'm gonna show the other lines here. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do even with the same card. So let me show you the other line where you do this O line, make Denlong. Okay, so now you have Denlong. You're gonna have the trap. You're gonna use Denlong and the level 3 token to make Omega, and then you're gonna use Denlong to summon Chiwen. Now at this point, the reason why you make Omega is because you want to use Omega to look at your opponent's hand. Basically, you don't look at their hand, but you can determine what they're playing by the random card that you banish from your opponent's hand. At this point in time, this gives you so much information because when you make your Xijiao line and you make Xijiao to search Emergence, you can then use Emergence to search Protos. And this is very powerful because now you know exactly what to call with Protos, like what attribute. And if you guys are not familiar with what Protos does, is it allows you to call an attribute on the field and destroys all monsters on the field with that attribute, which means you cannot summon the attribute that I call. So if I call Dark and you're playing a Dark deck like Phantom Knights, you're not allowed to summon any Dark monsters, which kills your deck. If you're playing Dytron, I can call Light. That destroys all Light monsters on my side of the field, and you cannot summon any Light monsters until the end of the next turn. What you do now is you use Xijiao and Chiwen to make Xiaofeng so that your 9 pillars is live. And then you use Adhara to add back Ashuna for follow-up. Now, if I just know that my opponent is playing Dytron, I can call Light with Protos, killing the Xiaofeng. And then I can use the Protos, call Light, kill Xiaofeng. Use Xiaofeng to make Ecclesia, search Ecclesia, which because it's a tuner. And whenever Xiaofeng is destroyed by a card effect or battle, you can search any tuner from your deck to your hand. So you add Ecclesia, normal Ecclesia summon Moye reveal Ashuna, make a token, then you make Berserker, draw 1. And now you have like a Berserker, a Protos, and they can't summon any Light monster at all, which is like super powerful. So you can see here, like it just shows like the versatility of the lines if you open up like Ashuna, Adhara, pretty much. The other thing that I can also show you guys is basically some like test hands. So like for example, in this type of hand, you can go like Long Yawn, Pitch Blackout. You have Call By for their Maxi. You can normal summon Taya. Tai can banish the Blackout. Make 2 tokens. You probably want to make Baron first here before you activate that, just so you can play around Nib. So you burn them. You can then use these 2 to make Xijiao. The reason why you banish Blackout because it allows you to play around Impermanence, because the Blackout also generates a token. Now at this point you can go into like there's like a bunch of lines you can go into. You can make Boxia and then use Taie to send like Ashuna, and then you can use like Ashuna to summon like a level 1 Adhara. You can use Boxia to pop itself to summon back the Taya, then use Taya and the level 1 to make Denlong. Use Denlong to add you the counter trap. Now you can use Denlong effect to send like basically a follow-up card, so probably something good here. I want to add effect Chiwen. Yeah, probably send another Ashuna, Adhara. Grab this. And this ends on like double omni negates. There's also another line where you can do something like this. Instead of going for this line, you can go for another line like this. You have Taya, 2 tokens. You can use these 2 to make Shi Xiao plus Taya. We can add the, let me see, emergence. Send Ashina. Ashina effect. Summon Adhara. Then you can go emergence. Add Protos. And then you can go Protos, banish Longyan, Taya, and the water token on the board. Then you make a monk. You go Adhara, add back the Taya for guaranteed follow-up. And then you can call Dark with Protos. And then you have like a Callby and a Maxi. They can't summon any Dark monsters. You have a Shi Xiao and a Baron. And the Shi Xiao can banish the emergence. So those are like some of your options. You can see like there's a bunch of lines you can go for. This is probably the better board, to be honest. You can also call Earth for add Emancipators if you want and kill the Monk. There's a bunch of options here. And the cool part is you guarantee recovery with the Taya in your hand. So that's pretty poggers. We can do another test hand. And that'll pretty much conclude the video. So in this hand, yeah, very similar. So you have Crossout Designeer, Vessel, Ecclesia, Ash, Ashuna. So you go Special Ashuna, make Monk. Go Vessel. In this line, you're going to send the Longyan, and we're going to add that Hara. You basically have Crossout for any hand trap in the game, and you have Ash for Maxi. So then you can go Special at Hara. Use these 2 to make Fibrax. This is going to be a pretty big combo line, actually. So let me show you guys from scratch how I'm going to do this. This is actually live on Twitch. I didn't fabricated any of these hands. So let me go. So you Despot, bring this back. Aurora, attribute this. Summon O-Line. I'll go O-Line and this into Denlong. Chainlink 1 Denlong, Chainlink 2 O-Line to make a token. Denlong is going to grab you the counter trap. Okay. Now at this point, you have Denlong, token. So these are level 3 tokens off of Rorodon. You have the Despot, you have Denlong here, you have an Adhara, Ashuna. So we have to figure out like what we want to do here pretty much. I think like the best line here is to probably make Baron, just because it protects us like from more stuff. So you go this, sending Ashina, becomes a level 7. Use the Denlong in a level 3 to make a Baron on top. It's just so you can conserve space. Denlong left the field, which can trigger to summon a Chiwen. Now at this point, you can go normal summon the Ecclesia. Use Ecclesia effect to summon Taya. That we can then use the Taya to banish the Longyan that we sent off this vessel. Then use Adhara to add back the Longyan to our hand that we have not yet used. Then we can go Taya plus this into Aboxia. Taya will then trigger to send a Moye to the graveyard. We can then use the Boxia to pop the level 3 token to bring back the Moye. Moye can then trigger to reveal the Longyan, which is the worm that we added to our hand. And we can then use the Boxia and the Chiwen, and actually probably Despot, right? Yeah, the Despot to make Chaofeng, which means they cannot activate any more light monster effects. Then we can activate Ashuna from our deck to summon a Vishuda. Then you can go and use Moye and the token to make Shi Xiao. This will allow us to we'll go Moye 1, Shi Xiao 2. Moye 1, Shi Xiao 2. That's gonna grab us emergence. Actually, we probably should do it the other way around. We probably should draw first. So Xijiao 1, Moye 2. Moye 2 draw. And then Xijiao is going to search us. Emergence. Yeah, it's either emergence or blackout. You can add blackout as well. Or you can add emergence. Either one are going to be pretty good in my opinion. So it's just up to you guys. I'll say both are pretty good, to be honest. Then at this point, you can use Vishuda and Chiwen to make Berserker. And then you can also use Emergence here. Actually, do we want to make Berserker? Yeah, I think Berserker is fine. And then you can add the Tenyi here and make the other 10 as well. You can also just grab Protos. If you grab Protos, you're not supposed to make Berserker here. Yeah, if you grab Protos, you're not supposed to make Berserker here at all. But instead, I think you can make another Boxia. I'm pretty sure. Let me think. Boxia, pop, summon. Chiwen, fact. Yeah, I think if you're gonna make Berserker in these type of lines, I'm not gonna add Protos. I'm actually gonna add Blackout instead of Emergence. And now we have like a Long Yawn for follow up. So in this type of hand, we have Blackout, 9 Pillars, Cross Out, Ash, Chaofeng, Berserker, Baron, and Xijiao. I think that's enough to win. This line, like, you could go for Protos, but if our random draw was any worm, then we would have went for like a Chen Ying Protos line. But I think for this hand specifically, in the hand we drew, I think ending on a banish. So like against Daitron, this card is really good. Against like Tri Brigade, this card is pretty good too. You have an Omni Negate here, Omni Negate here, a Monster Negate, a Monster Banish, a Pop 2 of anything. And blind pop 2 of anything is really good because you play against Eldritch. You want to be able to pop 2 of their back row, which is like super powerful. So you have like literally a Floodgate Light. So this is like technically 1 interruption, 2 interruption, 3 interruption, 4 interruption, 5, 6, 7. And then like when you 9 Pillars pop the Chaofeng, you can actually search Valor. So that becomes like 8 interruption. And you also have a Ecclesia and a Long Yawn for follow-up to play on the next turn. And also depends if you consider cross out interruption or not. That's like a lot. Because the thing is, you can cross out their Call by the Grave on your Ash Blossom too. So like, it's just ridiculous. Like, this is like one of the better boards you can make. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Got a little bit understanding of how to play the deck from the, basically from the freestyle test hands. The combo videos I showed you with Ashuna, Adhara, and then the deck list. Let me know how it goes for you. Let me know in the comment section below how this works out for you. If you have any questions, you can check me out on my twitch.tv/packtcg. If you want any more tips, I'm going to be playing this deck on Master Duel Live when it does get finally released. I've been playing this ever since it got released in the TCG. It's one of my favorite decks of all time. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.